gonna be completely honest with you guys, this video was never meant to happen. I was writing the script for another video you guys are gonna see on this channel pretty soon, and while writing that script I came to a realization that Daniel Park is a fucking dumbass. What am I yapping about? Well, allow me to elaborate. Daniel kinda went into this whole Busan thing without really any evidence regarding whether they're evil or not. He went to attack the four major crews without taking into account whether or not what he's doing is right, or whether or not the person he's trusting is reliable or trustworthy or not, and immediately just started wreaking havoc. If you guys noticed, the way PTJ has been portraying this whole process of taking down Busan so far has been really conjectural and presumptive. Daniel takes a trip to Busan and brings his whole entire gang with him to take down Jinrang based on the fact that James Lee told him he was evil. And when he gets there, he has a conversation with Seonong, a man whose introduction literally has the word unreliable all over it, saying as though he told Vasco he had Busan under his palm but he shat his pants the second he heard the name Four Major Crews. Anyway, he listens to Seonong under the basis that he was Vasco's friend and strengthens his assumption that the four major crews of Busan as well as Jinrang are completely evil forces that need to be taken down immediately, and then starts his plan to meet up with Choi Bong-pal. When he meets up with Choi Bong-pal, a literal mass drug dealer, the biggest one in the country whom Club Vivi used to rely on for their resources, uses a fucking toy lie detector to discern whether she's telling him the truth or not, being gullible enough to immediately believe that everything the drug dealer was saying about wanting to take down the four major crews is right, which after burning her drugs and leaving, she literally states the drugs she showed them are fake, and I mean, it's up to you to decide whether or not you think she actually trusts them, but it was never fully confirmed, always a question mark after every sentence. He starts going after the four major crews, the first one being a room bar, which is an adult entertainment establishment where you pay money to chat with hostesses, consensually. This is all legal, by the way. Daniel sends Zack and Hudson to take down the first crew, and when the crew heads are introduced, they immediately question the business ethics of Hudson and Zack, asking how they can just steal others' ace employees and customers like this and actually make it clear that Hudson and Zack are literally the villains here. Hudson also makes it clear that the whole reason he was here was to open Ansan Public's branch in Busan, which means he wasn't even taking them down for any illegal shit anyway, because there was no illegal shit and he's literally proving it. Anyway, we move on to the second area with the third crew head, Envin and Vasco, and it's a Hold'em street. Daniel's logic is immediately challenged as one of the members of Allied asks Daniel, but Hold'em pubs are legal, right? Then they're making money legally? To which Daniel replies, of course not, and then proceeds to describe how they're making money legally. He says, in reality, they're running other businesses behind the screen, illegal Hold'em bars. The moment the chips are exchanged for cash, it becomes illegal. Now you'd think with the evil Busan, when Daniel says something like this, he means this crew is exchanging these chips for cash and hiding it from the police. In fact, they're such good boys that they're following the law, and as quite literally stated by Daniel, avoid breaking that law by exchanging chips with alcohol or gift cards instead. Not only that, but after Daniel starts whining and crying about this crew bypassing the law by avoiding breaking it by doing something that he finds unfair, even though it's completely fair and legal, he proceeds to tell Vin and Vasco to bypass their law by applying an unfair gambling strategy called the Martingale strategy that turns unlimited money into more unlimited money. And when their crew head is introduced, he immediately announces to his customers to be fair in gambling, showing an even bigger, brighter red flare of ethical and moral presence. Nevertheless, we move to the third crew, the one Daniel's taking down, which he describes as a place that was originally used to settle disputes among sailors, with one-on-one duels, implying they were literally consensual. Anyway, with time, it became more and more popular, and that's how it became the arena everyone knows of. Fucking nothing he mentioned was illegal, by the way. Dude just described the UFC. Cool. Not only that, but when describing the method in which he's gonna take down the head of this crew, he literally says he's gonna participate in the fucking arena, bro. That is the literal identical equivalent of taking down a drug dealing business by opening a rivaling competitor in the drug dealing scene and selling more drugs than them. I don't think I need to elaborate any further on that crew because, to be honest, it's absolutely embarrassing for Daniel. So let's move on to the one which I'm sure has the most questions surrounding it, Eli Jang's target. I want you guys to keep in mind the fact that when this crew was introduced, it wasn't Daniel that introduced it, it was the person who literally stated she wanted to take the place of one of the four major crews of Busan, and coincidentally the crew she's describing happens to be related to the business she's in control of, in other words, smuggling. She takes it one step further and says they're smuggling young girls. Does she really though? When reading carefully, we come to the realization that when she was articulating her sentence and putting it together, she never outright stated that they were smuggling young girls. She said there are the foreign young girls, and dumbass Park immediately interrupts her by saying enough. No confirmation whatsoever that they're smuggling young girls. I mean, there's a possibility that they're smuggling fish at the port, and seeing as though she had trouble uttering the young girls part, she was likely bluffing because she quite literally wants to take down this crew and take their place. In fact, she's so skeptical of Allied that she didn't even show them her real drugs, knowing they would burn them. This isn't where this crew's part ends though, that's too weak. Now I want you guys to try your best to recall something real quick. When Eli Jang was taking over the business of the fourth major crew by beating up the fathers, did they ever mention the smuggling of young girls, or refer to the product they were smuggling as young girls even once? If your answer to that was no, you're goddamn right. All they said was protect the good. goods. Don't let him take the goods at any cost. Wait. Take the goods? As in, he's gonna take young foreign girls? How can that be possible? If he's out here trying to rid of evil, then he wouldn't be taking the young girls for himself. He'd be sending them to the police, no? So then why are they implying that he's trying to steal the goods from them and take them out for himself and for his business? Bingo. They're not young foreign girls. They're probably fucking fish. And the funniest part about this is that Eli immediately retaliates by asking the man, is that how you treat them? Goods? And instantaneously cuts back to his conversation with Daniel Park, who literally has never seen this business in action before and is speaking based on the word of Choi Bong Pal. He legit says it seems they're trading young kids. The final part of this theory is very minuscule yet extremely pivotal. When the fifth crew out of the 4 major crews is introduced, take note of what he says. Did you come here for our goods? Well, you sure have a strange fetish. Now think about this long and hard. Pause. If you're selling these human beings, then how can you even try to say that you yourself aren't weird or don't have any weird fetishes, let alone the person buying them from you? That's if they were human beings. But if a random person is coming out from the middle of nowhere and trying to steal your goods that aren't human beings, but something else that one could be attracted to, it would be sensible to call it a weird fetish, right? Wait, they're located at a port? They're sinking the ships if it all doesn't work out? Could it be? Could it be that they're selling fish that literally belong in the ocean? I don't know what to tell you guys other than if this turns out to be just some tomfoolery, I'm not gonna take accountability for it because Daniel is the dumbest, most gullible human being on the planet right now. But if it does turn out to be true, now you know exactly who to come back to.